We are excited that you are here, and holy moly, because is this possible?
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah. Brian got beat.
holy cow, Brian got beat, but there's like 4, 5, 6 people that beat us.
Oh my gosh.
Holy cow. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the 10th edition. Holy cow, we're in double digits, Jordan. Double digits,
Double
baby.
digits. We're getting
We
old.
are getting old, and you can see Jordan is he's sporting his California look in August. It's what is it, 145 degrees out there or something like that. But hey, there's a breeze.
No.
There's a breeze off the ocean, so it's okay.
Yeah, come on, man. It's like 80 degrees. It's California.
It's only 80. I thought you
Yeah,
guys. I thought it
it's
was
like
like
8.
150 degrees in the summer there.
Nah, we get like 2 weeks where it's pretty hot. Triple
Really?
digits.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness! I go down to Florida this time of year, I melt. Which,
Well,
by
they
the
got
way,
that
is
humidity too.
yeah. Oh, that's right. You guys are the dry heat. I always forget about you
Yeah,
people. That's why you like it there. Well,
that's
listen,
right.
guys, we are excited that you are with us, and I can already see just from the fact that a bunch of you beat us, which is, I'm pretty sure that's a first, that we're going to have a good show tonight. So we are excited that you guys are here, and we are excited to try to help some people and ask and answer some questions. And I know Jordan Barry, my friend from Laundromat Resources over here, and I know he is pumped.
I am
I'm
pumped.
very, very confident that Jordan is pumped. I mean, if you need any further proof, just look at those guns. Jordan says, "Sun's out, guns out. Sun's out, guns
All
out."
right, I wish we had like Photoshop or something. We could get some guns on there.
So, all right, guys. So first things first. If you have not checked out Jordan's most recent podcast, I call her Ariana Grande, but what her actual name is what? Ariana, do you remember? But
Roviello.
Roviello. Okay, I can't say that. I can barely speak English. But anyway, so yeah, I just finished listening to that today. Well, watching it. I watch podcasts mostly. But anyway, fantastic episode. You guys should go check it out. Jordan, I'm gonna tell you a funny story. If you guys have seen this episode, then you're gonna die laughing. If you hadn't, this is gonna make you want to go watch that episode. So, Jordan, I'm watching this podcast, and I have my 13-year-old in the room next to me, who's a full-blown teenager at this point, boy. And I'm just watching this episode, and normally he's not paying attention, but he's also the type of kid that's like always paying attention, even when he's not paying attention, because he loves to hear like adult things. And I'm listening to this, and it's on and on and on and on, and he says, "Is this for real?" And I was like, "Is what for real?" And he took off his headphones, which, by the way, that means serious business when a teenager
that
takes
is
off.
serious.
He takes off his headphones, he sits down his phone, which is also serious business, and he says, "Did that lady really name her laundromat lingerie?" Lingerie. Because guys, the name of her laundromat is what, Jordan?
Is Laundre, yeah.
Lingerie. And he heard it. It came up like 6 or
Lingerie.
7 times. You guys just said
I
like
did not
lingerie.
even. That's really funny because I did not
from
even
across the room. He was like,
that's
"Did she
teenage
really?"
boy for you, but
Yep.
man, that's
Oh yeah,
pretty funny.
definitely. So I was like, "Boa, get your head out of the gutter." So anyway, yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of that, and I don't
That's
know
pretty funny.
if she's joining us here tonight, but she maybe she'll get a kick out of it. Hopefully that doesn't offend her. But anyways, you guys, welcome. We are getting absolutely bombarded in the comments section. I'm so excited that you guys are here. I know Jordan is too. How's your week been, man?
My week's been awesome. I've been, just kind of cruising through the week. Made the rounds at the laundromats with the kids on Monday because my wife is back in teaching school.
Oh, that's right.
They're not back till next week. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
She doing all her pre-school year meetings kind of thing?
Yeah. So we're going to try to hit a couple amusement parks before they go back next week. We might go to one after this, actually, for an hour or two. And it's benefit of living in California. One of the many, many benefits.
Yeah. Well, we all know there's plenty of negatives too.
That's I'm not going to argue there. That's
what pros and cons to everything, my friend.
Yeah. How's your week going, dude?
It's going good. I can't complain at all, man. I have been today for the first time in I don't know, maybe 6 months. I actually last night looked at my calendar and I was like, the only thing I have on my calendar tomorrow is the Q&A with Jordan and everybody. And I was like, that's at 7 p.m. real time, by the way. And I was like, how could this be? I mean, not that I don't have plenty to do, because I had plenty to do. I just didn't actually have things on my calendar. And I was just blown away by that. So I literally spent like 2.5 hours today binge watching Jordan Berry at Laundromat Resource and the webinar that you did on pickup and delivery, which I didn't get to finish that. But anyway, with Sense and can't remember the other people's names. I apologize. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, what can I say? When I'm not working on Laundromat stuff, I'm binge watching and listening and reading Laundromat stuff because that's just how I roll. We have a French bulldog in the house. That is pretty daggone
That's
sweet, if I
right.
might say so. Lots of thanks from Australia. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
All right.
French the first name, bulldog the last name? Yep, I think so.
I would like to think so.
Hey, Bob's here. Aaron, how's it going, guys?
Real quick, I just want to say one of the things I've been doing over the last few days, and I don't know if I'm actually allowed to say this, but I'm going to say this, is you have a book coming out like soon in the next couple months, right? And this is like a big deal. And I know that you're not bringing this up, but I'm bringing it up because it's a big deal. You've got it published, and I snuck a little copy of it early, and I've been reading that bad boy this week, which is awesome. Cannot wait. I'm still gonna buy. Actually, I might buy a few of them, and try to get one of them autographed and sell it on eBay or something. I don't know.
You got to come off all that Laundromat Resource millions you're making.
Yeah,
buy a box of 1,000 and give them away to all your guests.
I might. I'm gonna do some giveaways with your book. That's for sure.
Cool.
But but seriously, I've been reading it. It's awesome, man. I haven't finished it yet, but I cannot wait for that thing to come out. Super excited for you.
Thank
And
you.
the other thing I'm excited for you about is you are almost at 1,000 subscribers. I meant to check right before this, but you are like
90,
close to 1,000.
989, guys.
Oh,
989
people.
If there's 11 people in the comments that haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel,
please
subscribe. Do. Not that it actually means anything, but Jordan is obsessed with this for some reason.
He
He wants to get me to 1,000. But no, I mean,
been.
it's, the cool thing about it is I don't focus on numbers like that, but the reality is, I mean, it's definitely a nice round number. The thing that actually means something to me is that I know there's a lot of YouTube channels out there that have all these vanity metrics where they buy subscriptions and all this different thing, and they look like something they're not. 100%, as far as I know, 100% of the people that have subscribed to my channel are totally organic. They are people. What's that?
It's Dan. Just subscribe.
Oh, yes. Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Yeah. So, I mean, 100% organic. I would assume that these are people that have found me through the different things that, you and I are doing and some of the things I'm doing on LinkedIn and Facebook and different places like that. So that actually means a lot to me because I think I've told you this, Jordan, but I always look at it through the lens of like, we live in this world where like, if you don't have 1 million subscriptions, then you're nobody. Or, a million views or whatever. And I always look at it and say, you know what? If you put me in a room with the number of people, let's say I have 100 people watch a video, you put me in a room with those 100 people and they actually got value out of that video, that's 100 daggone people. And if you put me in a room with 100 people, when I just think of like a class at church that might have 100 people in it, that's quite a few people. And so my point is, so when I think of 1,000, I just think that those are very genuine, organic people that are following me, and I pray that I'm helping them, which is why they're choosing to subscribe. So 1,000 means a lot to me because of that. I look at them as very real people. A lot of these people are my friends. And in fact, I would say probably, I don't know if I have 1,000 friends, but anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's, the reality is it's an honor, and to have 989 is an honor too. So, or I guess 990 now. Thanks, Dan. So
look at that. You got book signings lining up for you. There's already one in Florida happening.
Yeah, guys, if you don't know, I mean, I wrote this self-published book that I was going to self-publish. And basically in the last couple of weeks, what happened is I was able to sign an international publishing deal with a professional publishing publisher. Hey, Chelsea, welcome.
Kentucky.
Hey, from Kentucky. Not too far, Chelsea. I'm 5 minutes from the river where I'm at right now. Yeah, I'm very, very close to the border. But anyway, so I don't know where you're at in Kentucky, but welcome. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, big big, I never dreamed in a million years that this professional publisher would want, ever even consider my book. And so the fact that they were enamored with it and loved it and think that it's going to help some people, just, hey, I'll take all the people cheering me on that I can get, because I think we all need that. I think we all need to be surrounded by people that believe in us and want good things for us. And I don't think any of us really want toxic, negative people in our lives. I know at 45 years old, I definitely don't. So anyway, thank you, my
That's right.
friend. I appreciate it. So how far are you in the
Awesome.
book? No, don't go give anything
Oh,
away.
how far? How far
Yeah.
am I?
Mhm.
I'm a little over half.
Okay, cool.
I'm reading it on my very remarkable
Remarkable.
that
Very
I
remarkable.
use. I
Remarkable.
downloaded it onto there, and I've been reading it on there. So, and I'll probably also listen to. Are you going to read it? You're doing an Audible version, right?
I
Or an
actually am.
audio?
Yep, I'm reading it myself. It's almost all recorded. I have a chapter and a half left that I'll be doing next Tuesday. And then it takes like a month or two for editing and things like that. So anyways, exciting stuff. So I appreciate all the support, guys. Definitely couldn't and probably wouldn't do it without all of you. So man, there's a lot happening in the chat.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, I'm looking forward to falling asleep to the sound of your sweet, sweet voice, whispering sweet nothings about laundromats in my ear. But Red Rodeo, thank you. That is awesome. I'm sure we'd both love to chat with you once you get there. We're excited. And maybe we should jump in with some questions. You got anything else you want to say before we do?
No, just check out Jordan's podcast, guys. And I know you all are on my YouTube channel tonight. And once again, I appreciate the subscribes and the likes and everything. But this, don't forget to go over to Jordan's, and he's killing me. He's almost to 4,000. So I don't think I'm ever going to catch him, but that's okay.
Oh, you'll pass me. No.
But
no
yeah, so go. I mean,
if
you haven't, go subscribe to Jordan's channel, because there's a reason that 4,000 people have subscribed to it.
You're at 994, my friend.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Go subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We'll go get it. Okay, this is not a roundup for subscribers, but I love that that's happening.
Wow. Thank you, guys. That's so cool. I mean, that's cool that five people did that. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Let's earn those subscribes right now.
Let's do it, my friend.
Earn them. Well, hey, Brian was not the first one to comment today, but he was the first one to pose a question. So maybe we should tackle his question first.
Okay.
He asked way back up at the top of the chat, what pros and cons, let's have a little debate here on why would you pay credit card fees for drop-off service when you can own your own ATM and collect those fees yourself and not have to pay the ATM fees. What are your thoughts on that?
Yep. So first of all, great question, Brian, because I think a lot of people have that question. And I tend to come across pretty brash, which it's not really my intention. I'm just like a blah kind of honest person. Maybe sometimes a little bit too. But the truth of the matter is, because it's about your customer, it's not about you. That's the reason why, at least for me, I'm not here to denigrate anybody else for making decisions otherwise. For me, it's very simple. If I have to choose between me winning and my customers winning, I want my customers to always win. That's how I've made decisions for 12 years. And a lot of people say, well, but if you make all your decisions that way, then you're never going to make any money. Well, I'm doing pretty well, guys. Like, I started with 50K 10 years ago, and I'm doing okay now. So like, I'm pretty confident that the money will follow. And God even kind of tells me, not money, but he tells me that, if I do the right things by people, that I'll be rewarded accordingly. And I don't know exactly what that reward looks like, but I'm okay with it. And I trust God. So I'm just going to keep serving people. I'm just going to keep helping others. And I try to make all my decisions that way. What's best, what's convenient for my customers. And the reality is, what's most convenient for them is to not have to pay a fee. Is for me to absorb the fee and build it into my business model, which I absolutely do in my prices. And for when they walk up to the counter, for me to not have to say, sorry, I need you to turn around, go over that little 18-inch machine over in the corner, put your card in, pay a $3 or $4 fee, maybe a $2 or $3 fee to your bank as well, and then get your cash out and then come up here and then we'll break that cash for you. I'd much rather them just walk up, stick a card in a machine, and I absorb that couple percent, which is absolutely built into my pricing model. So that's my answer. I mean, I'm not saying it's the right answer. It's the right answer for me. So I totally get why people look at it from a, hey, if I can not have these expenses and make money off my fees. But every time I look at my business model through that lens, I just think, yeah, but that's making decisions based on benefiting me, not serving others. So that's the way I look at it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with having an ATM machine and charging
No.
fees to use that.
Mm-mm.
I am all for that and think that's a great option to have in terms of restricting credit card usage and funneling people towards that. I don't even necessarily think that that's wrong, but I agree with you wholeheartedly about, hey, the mindset needs to be what's best for the customer. What is, what's going to be easiest for them to do. I'm all about trying to take away any friction from transactions from customers, because the
Mhm.
easier it is, if they can do a one click. I mean, look at Amazon, right? They built a whole business off of one click ordering
That's right.
and free delivery, right? Because it's just easy. Click, delivered, it's
Mhm.
yours, and you're good to go, right? And so any kind of friction I can take away, any steps I can remove is good. And I think you just need to build in those fees into the pricing, and deliver the value. I mean, that's, you say this all the time, right? You're king of delivering the value, right? And so, you're delivering the value, then you should be able to build those credit card fees into your price, and it shouldn't be a problem. And also
Mhm.
have that ATM and charge a fee to use that too, because again, that's another convenience right
Yep.
there. So
Well, and to be clear, I have ATMs in all of my stores,
yeah,
and I always will. I mean, but the difference is I don't believe in forcing people to use them. I want them to have options. But if they need to get cash and it's more convenient than walking across the street to the bank, then I want to have an ATM available to them. Just for me, it's not an either or proposition. I mean, it's both. Why not have both? But great
yeah.
question, Brian. Yeah, appreciate it. That's a good one. That's a great one to start out with. I'm not surprised it came from Brian Henderson, the man, the legend himself. So
uh, there's a question about somebody relocating, like 2.5 hours away.
yeah, I saw that.
And what are your thoughts about owning a laundromat 2.5 hours from your house? Is that doable? Is it advisable? I don't know. What do you
Um,
think?
well, first of all, I'll read the question just so we have some context. The question, I think we're talking about the same one. I'm moving from Colorado Springs to Fort
Yeah.
Collins, 2.5 hours away in 18 months. Would it be foolish to try to buy a laundromat in Fort Collins before I get up there? I mean, I'm not going to use the word foolish, but if you're new to the industry, that's not something I would recommend doing. So I think that's kind of the caveat. I mean, if you own 6 stores, it could be a perfectly good decision. If you have family and friends and a great network in the area you're moving to in Fort Collins, then that can factor in. But there's definitely a lot of obstacles and uphill battles to having something that far away. I mean, we know me and Jordan have friends that do it from across the pond in other countries. And so, absolutely, it can be done. And I'm not one that is going to sit here and tell you you can't or shouldn't do anything. I think it's probably not an ideal situation to do it. I mean, the fact that you're going to be there in 18 months, without knowing anything about you, my personal suggestion would probably be to wait until you get there. But I also don't know. I mean, do you spend 6 months out of the year there and live 2.5 hours out of the way the other 6 months out of the year? There's a lot of caveats there, but as a general rule, I would say, yeah, you probably should wait, would be my guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably agree with that. But with that said, first of all, if you need to, I'm I'm with Dave 100% on that. It's obviously not an ideal situation. I think there are situations where it can work. For example, I had Tom Donnelly on the podcast, and
Hmm.
he travels around his RV. He's from California. He's traveling around. I follow him on Instagram, and he's always in these awesome places.
Hey,
And
he's like never been in his laundromat, right?
he's
Like
never
never.
seen his laundromat.
That's the craziest thing I've
It's
ever
like
heard.
outside of Atlanta. He's never
No.
been there, never seen it. But he's got partners, right? And
Right.
so
Right. That's right.
there are ways to do it. But obviously it's not an ideal situation, especially if you're trying to run it as your business. He's running it more of as like an investment, and his business partner is running the business side of it and running the operations. And
Mhm.
he's more of like the money guy on that side. But there's
So
different ways to do things.
yeah, most definitely. I want to ask you about that specifically for a second. So is he, because I didn't watch that whole podcast, but I did watch part of it. I mean, it sounds like he's more of a silent investor than an actual laundromat owner operator. Is that a fair statement? Because I think those are two very distinct things. If he has a partner that is an active owner operator, then he's not really running the business from his RV. I mean, that's not a fair statement. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think he has a role in the
He
running of the
does. Okay.
business. It's like the more the administrative side. Obviously, he's not in the
Okay.
laundromat managing employees. He's not.
Right.
They have they have meetings, over online, excuse me, online, and stuff to make business decisions. But yeah, I would not consider him definitely not a traditional owner operator, and I think he is probably more on the investor side of things than the owner operator side of things.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I just reminded myself I got to go finish that episode. That doesn't usually happen. I'm usually I don't leave until I'm done, but I think something got me. There was a squirrel involved. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Something got me distracted. But anyways, yeah. I mean, there's people that do it. That's what it boils down to. But they usually, what I said a minute ago, they usually have pretty tremendous support systems in place. Or as a perfect example, I mean, my business I've been doing for 12 years. I have an amazing team of general managers. We now have 2 assistant GMs, which is amazing. We have store managers at each store and a rock star team. I mean, I could move to China and not come back for 2 years and my businesses would be fine. But I spent 12 years building that. So that's why I say it kind of depends on where you're at in life. But if you have a great support system and things like that, it can absolutely be done. I don't know that it's ideal. So yeah.
So you heard it here first. Dave Menz is moving to China.
Holy moly. They won't even let me in California. They're definitely not going to let me in China. Which actually, by the way, we're going to find out if they'll let me in California very soon.
I will smuggle you in. Come on.
Okay. There's a lot of things that can be smuggled in this world. Dave
right.
Reds is not one of them.
Yes. I can get you in. Don't worry.
You might have to cut me up, put me in like 10 different SUVs.
I just bought a truck and I'll put a false bed in that sucker and we'll get you in. That's great.
But no, Jordan knows this, but in October, I'm actually going to be going to California for my first time for some business things. And I think I'm going to actually get to meet my buddy in person. I don't know that I've ever felt like I know somebody so well as you without ever actually meeting them.
I know
it's kind of weird and like sort of creepy. But
it's all the things our parents warned us about the internet.
That's right. That's it. I am absolutely the people that your parents warned you about, Jordan.
Yeah. Likewise.
No doubt whatsoever. Yeah. So yeah, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of people in here that I just want to say, thanks for taking the time. I mean, everybody, obviously. But I know James Monroe is a coaching client of mine, and he's getting into the industry, and he's gonna do some good things for himself and his family. So, James, I'm glad I know you're a busy guy, and I'm glad you got to join us today. So, yeah.
There are a ton of questions. I mean, Brian had another really great one.
I cannot stop scrolling. I can't
I'm
tell you how
much
down
seriously over here. Hopefully,
I just keep scrolling. I'm like, this thing doesn't end. You guys are amazing. So
I mean, that's my favorite part of these things.
It is.
Everybody
it's absolutely
in the chat. Thank you guys for being there and answering each other's questions. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Brian had this awesome other question that I think is, I mean, I'm going to write down answers to this. And I want to hear in the chat too, your guys' answers. But he asked, like, if you were making a new build, which you are right now, what's your wish list of features to include in a new build laundromat? That was way up at the top. But I'd love to hear yours and everybody else's. What's your wish list of what to include in a brand new build laundromat?
My wish list is all the things that I see most laundromats being built without. And they're not necessarily things that are sexy, but they're things that are very important to our customers. And by the way, I just saw that Brian Wallace has joined us, and he officially subscribed to the Laundromat Millionaire YouTube channel. So thank you, Brian. Thanks for joining us. If you guys don't know, Brian Wallace is the CEO and president of the Coin Laundry Association, who does amazing things for our industry. So welcome, Brian. Thanks for
Welcome,
joining us.
Brian.
Definitely a wealth of knowledge. By all means, Brian, dive in and try to help some people. We appreciate you being here. Holy cow. Yeah, I'm literally building my dream store right now. I wouldn't say that I have an unlimited budget because I don't think that's true, but I am able to pretty much do whatever I want to do. My wish list, it starts with my team, which I already have an amazing team. So that's kind of the caveat. I think it starts with the three things that are non-negotiables for me at this point in my career, and I'm not saying they should be for you guys. One of them is having a solid location, meaning just an absolute rock star location. A competitor cannot have a better location than me in that part of the community or that part of the county, and I have that. I have an insane amount of parking. I bought 1.7 acres of property. We have about 50 parking spaces right now that are all ours. It's a standalone building, but I actually own all the property and I could easily add 25 or 30 more parking spaces. And so that's a really big deal. I do own the real estate for this, which is very important to me at this point in my career. But if you're not going to own the real estate, you need to have a rock solid lease. And I'm not necessarily talking about just the terms, or not terms, but the rent rate. I'm talking about the overall terms of it, meaning long-term security. Because actually, Brian Wallace is said many times, and I agree with him completely. He said, one of the one of the few things you can't overcome is a bad lease in a laundromat. And I agree. I mean, you're fighting an uphill battle. It's probably not going to work for you. Um, as far as the actual facility itself, I have top of the line, top of the industry equipment in Hipsch Touch, which I'm a big fan of. That doesn't mean I have any problem with any other equipment, to be clear. They're all good. But I do believe that those touch controls that Alliance has out right now are just absolutely off the charts, user friendly, and very intuitive. And so I'm super excited to be able to put those in. You know, things like, excess folding tables. I mean, the building's 9,000 square foot, but the retail store is actually only about 6,000 square feet. And we're going to have like 16 folding tables in there. We're going to have 12-foot aisles. We're going to have I think it's 9 or 10 different seating units, and we're probably going to add 7 or 8 more once we open. So really what I'm excited about is we're going to have a plethora of basically everything. We're going to have the best location, the best parking. We're going to own the property. We're going to have long-term security. We're going to have amazing equipment. We're going to have an amazing team. All the things that, a standard modernized laundromat takes for granted in a lot of parts of the country. I have the luxury of having and building. So, once again, I don't really see myself as competing with other people. I never really have. But I do know for sure that this laundromat is the biggest laundromat in the state of Ohio. And I'm pretty confident that it's definitely going to be one of the nicest when I'm finished. And so things like value proposition, your team, and throughput are, as you guys know, are things that I really focus on. I don't get too hung up over the Wi-Fi and this stuff because to me, those are all kind of givens. So I don't know if that makes sense. What about you? What's your dream laundromat?
Man, I mean, you kind of need to have an unlimited budget around here
No
to
kidding.
grab the real estate.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially for a store that size, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
No
I
doubt.
think, yeah, I think covering the basics are, the Wi-Fi, the new equipment, all that stuff I would consider basics. What I would love is, I like a wow factor. That's what I like. So, if it's just something that number one is, visually stimulating, but number two is also very, functional and practical and contributes to the business. So I'm thinking like, with through diligent capital investments, the syndication group we were looking at a location that had this weird, like, other room that had some random washers and dryers in there. And we were talking about maybe clearing that out, putting, like a McDonald's-esque PlayStation, like play
Play it.
area
Yeah.
in there with folding around it so parents can fold while they're, watching.
Mhm.
I mean, that's like a wow factor, especially around here where, space is a premium and it's not
Yeah.
necessarily going to drive revenue, but it will drive,
Oh,
it will be a draw for
yeah.
customers, by far, especially, if we can kind of corral the kids and, around here, it's you got kids running all over the place. It's craziness. But I like a touch like that, like a wow factor, something that's, unique, but also is a draw. It's either going to contribute financially directly to the laundromat, or it's going to contribute indirectly by drawing customers and creating value for customers there. So something like that would be on the wish list. But all the things that you said, I mean, there was a lot of good stuff coming through the chat also. I just throw it all in there and then wow them all. Be great.
Yeah. No, the kids play area I think is actually a big deal. My new store will have one, but it won't have the McDonald's play area. But I actually considered it. I really did consider it because I have the room. But we have so much vertical integration going on that space is not wasted on us for sure. But yeah, having a kids play area is amazing. And at my fourth store, it's certainly not a McDonald's playland. It's a small kids area in the corner. But we have a small kids play area in the corner with books and things like that. And we intentionally built a couple folding tables over there right next to it because it's about a 5,500 square foot store. So the folding otherwise was on the other side of the room. And I thought, man, I don't want kids over here playing in the play area without mom and dad monitoring them. And I don't want people to not let their kids play in the play area because they can't see them and feel that they're safe or they might sneak out the front door. So yeah, I think those are really, really big deals.
Yeah. Not to jump the line too far, but David Howard just commented that he was notified today that Alliance Touch Equipment production has been suspended and his order was canceled. Anybody know anything about that? I haven't heard anything about that, but that's interesting.
No,
anybody know any reasoning behind that?
I don't, but if I were to speculate, which is what I'm about to do, I would guess that it has a lot more to do with their supply chains breaking down and their delays being so far out that they've probably made a leadership decision to not accept orders because they just can't commit to when they would fulfill them. You see that in business all the time when supplies chain breaks down. Because it's one thing to tell somebody, well, it's going to be a 4, 6, 12-month delay. But I mean, what are you going to do? Tell somebody like you can order the equipment, but it's going to be 3 years? I mean, like that, honestly, that's bad leadership if you reach that point and are still taking orders, to be honest. So that would be my guess. But yeah, I don't have any inside information. I can definitely find out though. Now I'm curious. See, I'm a curious guy.
Yeah, we just lost Dave. He's gone. I think it was Stacy who was asking earlier. I think, and Stacy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think her question was basically like, how do you keep track of employee card usage with your wash dry fold? How do you know that they're not giving away free washes, doing their own laundry? So she said, for example, if somebody comes in with 75 pounds worth of laundry, how do you make sure that they're using their employee card payment to actually do that laundry and not to give away free washes or not to do their own laundry or something like that? Stacy, I think that's what you're asking. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Did you lose me? Or did I lose you?
No, I don't know. Am I still here?
Oh, yeah, you're here. You said something about you lost me. I thought maybe I lost my feed.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Did you hear any of that? Did you hear that? You tracking with me?
Yeah, I did.
You got anything to say about that?
Honestly, the whole time I was trying to figure out how I lost you guys.
Oh, no.
I thought you said you lost Dave. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I didn't hear anything you said because I was panicking trying to figure out. I didn't want to blow the whole show up. Sorry. I was like, wait, what happened? Anyway, hey guys, we're live. So that happens. So, yeah, I totally misunderstood you.
You want me to repeat it or you got it?
Sure. Yeah. No, what's the question?
So Stacy was asking, and I think Stacy, I'm reading right. It's hard to keep track, man. The chat is going crazy.
That's what I know. I'm not even halfway down this thing. And
she said, I found it. She said exactly the question. Okay. She said, how do you keep track of, so, she had or has a coin store and she just switched or has another store with a card system, and she has a wash dry fold, like a drop off. And she said she's having difficulty tracking and making sure that the employees are using the cards for the wash, dry, fold drop off, and not like giving away free washes or doing their own laundry with those cards? How do you keep track of, those cards being used for the proper things and not other things? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think I
So
explained it better last time, but
yeah, when we had coin tills, which we still do at a couple of our stores before we got cards in our stores for drop off, we had just a manual spreadsheet, and they had to write down the date and the time and the machine number and everything on everyone whenever they removed cash from this till. They had to put their name down, and they had to put a timestamp and everything, and that was so we could, if we suspected anything, we could go back and we had timestamps for the video. When we put the card systems in, it kept us from needing to use coins, but we actually kept the same controls in place. Now, you can see on a card system, you can see when they swiped it and things like that. So, I mean, it's honestly, it's just a matter of management, but it takes time. So it's, I mean, you can sit there and physically watch every one of them if you really want to, but I think we all know that when you're managing people, there's people you trust more than others, and then there's kind of red flags that fly up, like, okay, this person, I've been loading $100 a week on their attendant card, and they're blowing through it 3 times as fast as any other employee in the organization. Red flag, and so we're not going to sit here and obsess over every staff member.
Maybe they're just a super worker.
Right. But yeah, I mean, that in cases like that, that's when you're going to go back and you're going to have the ability to track those things. And it can take hours in some cases to actually diagnose and look at everything to see what's going on. So I don't have a better answer than that. Because I think it's something there's a reason that I have and need managers in each store. There's a reason I have assistant GMs, and there's a reason I have a GM. And they're not all just doing laundry. When you have an organization that does a pretty good amount of volume like we do and is continuing to grow, I mean, you got to keep people honest. And the best way to do that is for people to know that there are controls and systems in place and there are people watching. And then part of it is just, hopefully hiring the right people, which we think we all try to do for sure. So, Stacy, I don't know if that helps you. When Stacy actually, came to Cincinnati for a visit a while back. And Stacy, when you were in my store, you probably remember seeing that. And that's what we do. And we actually thought we thought we might be able to get rid of it. But we found that it's actually still really useful to have. It's just another layer. But anyway, yeah, Brian Wallace says he loves to see charging stations in so many newly remodeled laundromats. That's a fantastic point, Brian. We're going to have charging stations and plugs everywhere in our new store, including even the outlets on the walls are going to have like the USB in the middle that you see at like the newer restaurants. So they don't even have to have an actual brick to plug in like a USB. And I keep wondering, when's that going to evolve from USB to USB-C, I think is what they call it. Because my kids just started school this week, and they got MacBooks at their school, and they brought them home. And our 11-year-old was so distraught that there are no USB ports on this new MacBook. They're all USB-C. And he was like, what am I going to do? I said, well, they make adapters for that, bud. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, great point, Brian, because that's definitely something that people value. People value those plugs and those USB ports. They value those more than TVs anymore. No doubt about it. So I definitely not a luxury, but neither is any of the things that I talked about. I would really call all those things necessities in a modernized laundromat. And I understand that everybody is not there yet, but a part of what I really try to stress to people isn't necessarily to try to do what I'm doing or do what other people at the top of the industry are doing. What I'm always trying to stress to people is just keep driving forward. Don't ever get lazy and happy. Don't ever get content. Always be trying to be better than you were before. So don't worry too much about where I am or somebody else is. Just always be looking for ways to make your business better. And a lot of those things factor in. So if you don't have those, that doesn't make you a failure or a bad business owner. Just make it a priority to invest in them when you're able to. Because I definitely was not always able to do all the things that I do in my stores right now, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. And I think, part of the difficulty of, some of that stuff is that it requires time and effort and energy, but that's business, right? That's what you do. Right. So
that's right.
And that's how you grow, and that's how you, and I mean, I love that you're always talking about, and you're always saying, hey, continue to grow, keep growing, keep pushing forward. And that stuff kind of compounds, right? And,
Absolutely.
like you said, you've been in the business, what, 11, 12 years, something like that. And in the beginning, you got your laundromat off Craigslist and slaved away over there for a long time. Right. And
Yep.
so, to get from there to where you're at now, it's a whole lot of continually growing in small ways, over time. And that stuff compounds and grows. And here you are,
Well,
the laundromat millionaire.
one of the reasons I'm really passionate about telling my story, and I know some people that don't know me and don't really know my true story, one of the reasons I'm really passionate about it is because I want people to know that I came from about the worst place possible, in my personal life and in my business life, from where I came from, where I started, and how little I had. And so part of me telling my story isn't to brag about all the money I make now. It's to point out to people that you probably didn't start a whole lot worse than me. And if I can do it, you can do it. So really me talking about my story is about trying to inspire and motivate people to chase, to not accept mediocrity. Wherever you are right now in your operations, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're trying to be better tomorrow than you were yesterday. And that's how I got to where I am. I wasn't born with millions. I didn't just start with millions. I didn't just have a bunch of nice stores from the very beginning. And I think some people think that because of the way I speak and talk about my operations and my business now. But I'm really trying, and I guess I don't do a good enough job sometimes, but I'm really trying to let people know that really no matter where you start, if I can do it, you can do it if you want to, if it's important to you, if it's a priority. Now, if you're not willing to do what I did and you're starting in the same place, then you're probably not going to get to where I got to. And if you're willing to do more, make more sacrifices, more delayed gratification and things like that, then you're probably going to get there faster than I did. And I would love to help you do that too, through things like this and my book and all the other things I'm doing. So yeah, I mean, I tell everybody the same thing. Look, I don't say any of this stuff to brag. I do it all to help inspire other people, because I think there's a lot of people, in all small businesses, but our industry too. I think there's a lot of people that think that we just have to accept the status quo. It's just a laundromat, or it's good enough for these people. Or I hear things like that all the time, and it just makes me sick. If you are where you are right now, then okay, that's fine. You can't do much about that at this point, but you can do something about it moving forward. And so hopefully you want to. And I know, Jordan, that's what you're all about with Laundromat Resource. And that's a big part of our motivating factors, is helping the people that want to make a difference, in their communities do it. So anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Waleed, welcome. Waleed and I were on a webinar yesterday, and he was a panelist.
Yes.
It was awesome. A lot of fun. And Waleed, actually, if you're still in the house, this question you might be able to chime in on in the chat over there. Somebody, this was like so long ago now, we're so behind, but
Oh my
somebody was
gosh.
asking about pickup and delivery, and basically they were saying that their pickup and delivery business is a little bit stale right now. It's a little bit static and it's not growing right now. So you got any tips, Dave, or anybody in the chat, Waleed, or anybody in the chat, got any tips for somebody to jumpstart a stagnant or a fledgling pickup and delivery business?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I can't have a one-on-one conversation with him. So that's really where we need to go to address his personally. But what I tell people all the time in pickup and delivery is real simple. It's a trust business. You're in the trust business, and you have to earn their trust. Now, they have to give you a chance at some point. And maybe that's done through coupons and, things like that. But at the end of the day, they have to click on your app or call you or whatever they do. And then you have to earn their business from there. Once they give you the opportunity, you have to earn it. And that's almost always based on having a caring, resourceful team that are people that just genuinely want to do a good job. And then having the right systems in place so that you can execute. So one of the things I train my coaching clients on all the time is just being scalable. And a lot of people misunderstand that as the ability to grow, which is a lot of times what scalability means. But repeatability is maybe a better way of putting it. You need to have repeatable processes. And because what that allows you to do is execute. You can have the nicest van wrap in the world. You can even have the best looking, delivery guys in the world who are just amazing customer service people. But if you have a breakdowns in your supply chain along the way, then you're not going to ever have consistency in your product. And those are the reasons that I'm not a huge fan of some of the business models out there that I know some people have success with, and that's great. But I'm a fan of controlling the supply chain from beginning to end, including the customer service and every aspect of it, so that I know that they get an amazing experience. Because every time I remove myself from that supply chain, it's just an opportunity for someone somewhere that doesn't control that doesn't care about my business the way that I do, most likely, to have a breakdown in supply chain. And when you do that, even once you've earned an amazing amount of trust, um, once you've earned that trust, it can still be lost. Usually they'll give you a second or third chance if you've earned it, but that's a big part of it. But there's many different business models out there. I'm a route-based system. That's what I do. That's what I teach because it's scalable in pretty much every market of the country. But I know you guys with Waleed just had the webinar about the what is the on-demand. I'm missing the right word. Forgive me. The gig economy with the sense
DoorDash integration.
DoorDash.
Yeah.
Thank you. DoorDash integration. So yeah, I mean, you want to talk about that a little bit? I mean, I know you're not doing it personally, but you just talked to some people that did, and I know Waleed is one of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was an interesting webinar because I did not know this kind of going in, but there's, different ways that different owners are using. I mean, this is just getting rolled out there, but different ways that different owners are utilizing. So Waleed, for example, first of all, I just posted that webinar on my YouTube channel. So go over there and check that out if you're interested in learning about that. But Waleed was talking about using it to expand into new territories or try out new zip codes or geographical areas without having to commit, to hiring a new driver, buying a new truck, anything like that, to see if there's business available in a new area and to be able to scale or grow out to those areas to where you can bring it in-house. So Waleed has a pretty big pickup and delivery side of his, that's the main thing of his business. And so he's utilizing gig economy workers to, scale out and to grow out and to expand out his reach. Whereas Ariana, who was on the webinar, only uses gig workers, and that's all she offers as of right now in terms of pickup and delivery. And, if people want to have their laundry picked up and delivered back, they do it through DoorDash with her system. So different ways of doing it and different, it's a tool like anything else, right? That you can use or not use. And, it's an option out there, and some people it's going to be a good fit for, and some people it's not going to be a great fit for. And for example, Ariana has a wash dry, drop off, wash dry fold service. And so she's operating her pickup and delivery service essentially just as a drop off laundry. It's just that the DoorDash people are the ones dropping it off, not the actual customer. So yeah, different ways of doing things, and fits different things. So
yeah, the one thing I'll add to that, and I don't claim to know a lot about the DoorDash situation. I'm still learning, and I am intrigued just because I always want to push the envelope and see if there's a better way to do things. Is I think two things I can see from afar as somebody that prides myself on knowing pickup and delivery pretty well. One of them is I agree completely with your sentiment, and I know it's Alex's sense, and probably Waleed's and everybody else's too on that panel. One of the things that I really love about it is it does give a laundromat owner the ability to kind of dip their toes into pickup and delivery and decide if it's for them. Now, I think some people, and I haven't finished the webinar actually, so I'm not positive of the whole story, but what I know of Waleed is that he the part that I watched so far was that he didn't want anything to do with building a logistics business and managing all those people. It sounded very overwhelming to him, and I'm guessing he still doesn't do that. I don't know, but is that true? Yeah, that's all he does. Okay,
he's got his own pickup and delivery.
He has his own vans, and
he's shut down his self-serve. Waleed, correct me if I'm wrong, but believe
No, but I
he
mean,
shut down
does he have his own drivers and trucks and
own
routes and stuff?
drivers and
So
trucks,
he's
and
not using DoorDash anymore?
he utilizes them to try out new zip codes or to
Supplement.
build up a customer
Gotcha.
base in a new zip code until he can get a
Mhm.
route going out there with his own drivers. Yeah, it's
See,
supplemental
that's
for him.
yep.
His main business is his own, whereas Ariana only uses gig workers.
Right. Gotcha. That's kind of my point. And I don't claim to have all the answers about this, but that's my point is the place that I see this being best served for our industry is how you are, if I understand you correctly, how you're describing Wally to use it, which is getting into the business, learning the business, proving his business model, let's call it that, and then saying, okay, this is worth investing in my own vans, my own drivers, being a route-based system and setting up routes and zip codes and all these things. And then you're saying he still supplements that to test zip codes outside of his current market, which is
Mhm.
also a fantastic tool because you don't have to go, I don't know if you have 4 vans or whatever, you don't have to go buy a 5th and then turn around and sell it if that expansion didn't work out. So I think it's awesome that people like Sense are creating new tools for our industry, helping us laundromat owners to push the industry forward. I think it's fantastic. Just my personal opinion, do I think that the gig economy and the DoorDash systems of the world are going to be the answer for laundry pickup and delivery? I don't. I don't think that that is the answer for our industry, but I do think it is an answer for the industry, and that's why I think it's amazing that the folks at Sense have taken that on. And I just love the mentality, honestly, of the team at Sense. I love their mentality of just like, why not push this forward, give the industry these tools, and then let the laundromat owners, the independent operators, figure out how to best use these tools and whether it's right for them in their market and not. I suspect that there will be some markets like Ariana, for example, in San Francisco, where it might make sense to never outgrow that, especially if she's only looking at doing pickup and delivery within, say, a 4 or 5 mile radius of her store. But where route-based systems make a lot more sense is when you want to extend that front door 10, 15, 20, 25 miles from your store. And that may not make sense in a New York City or an LA, for example, just because of traffic and things like that. But I don't think the DoorDash is going to work in that environment, which is the type of business model we have. But I think it's a fantastic tool, and I really just love the way that the folks at Sense are looking at the industry, because I know for a fact that's what's going to drive our industry forward. Um, so anyway, super cool stuff. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
excited to finish. I'm excited to finish that webinar. If you guys haven't checked it out, you should go do that. And you said it's on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I just posted
Okay.
it earlier today on
Okay.
there.
That must be why it popped up then, because I have an alert for you because I subscribe and I click the
Wow.
alert bell on Laundromat Resource. And so
The Laundromat Millionaire. Wow.
I get notifications when Jordan drops a new video. And you right there, I'm talking to you. You should do the same, by the way. You should do the same. And I just realized I've had the same comment up on the screen for like half an
Yeah,
hour. Okay.
forever.
I'm a
Forever.
completely incompetent host, by the way. I
I didn't wanna say
cannot
anything, but
I
yeah,
I
pretty
I am
much.
completely incapable of multitasking. That is the biggest facade on the planet.
Uh,
I'm laser focused, baby.
that's right. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like. All right.
Uh,
Well, speaking of laser focus, let's stay focused here. There's another
yep.
question that rolled in. What are some of the challenges in converting to dollar coin? And
Hmm.
specifically, I think the normal concerns, but number one, cost of converting to dollar coin.
Mhm.
Number two, what about when you need to raise prices? And number three, how is inflation going to affect your store if you only have the ability to raise prices by $1 at a time? Any thoughts on
Um,
that? I mean, you've done dollar coin stuff.
Yep, I have and am, and I'm a big fan of it. If you're going to be coin, I always tell people there's multiple conversations within the payment system and conversation. If you're going to be coin, there is no argument whatsoever for remaining quarter, in my opinion. And believe me, I've had a lot of them. But if you're not going to be coin, that's a completely different conversation of whether you should be coin or you should be card or phone pay or whatever. That's a different conversation. So I think I'm going to approach it backwards with the inflation question. I think it makes a lot more sense to be dollar coin in an inflationary environment because our buying power is doing diminished, which means if you think 48 quarters is a pain in the butt to put in a 60-pound machine, try putting 68 quarters in a 60-pound machine. And so I think it only benefits you. What was question number two or point number two? You said,
Well, cost of conversion
yeah,
and, the normal raising prices, I mean,
raising
you're addressing
prices.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, raising prices. I can tell you what my experience has been in my 4 stores, but I can also tell you what literally probably 40 or 50 laundromat owners across the country that I've either helped convert to dollar coin or have taught me. I learned from them being trailblazers. There is not a situation that I know of where not being able to raise prices by a dollar is actually reality. Do I think it could exist? Sure. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there aren't these hyper competitive environments where maybe it is a negative for you. But I mean, I've raised my top loaders from $2 to $3 because I'm dollar coin and I needed to raise the prices. That's a 50% price increase on a small machine. If the market will handle that, then they'll handle just about anything. But when it comes to anything bigger than a top loader or maybe a 20-pound machine, honestly, I think the argument's almost laughable that you can't raise prices by a dollar. I mean, when you're talking about a 60-pound machine that let's say it's $8 or $9 or $10, I mean, you can't go from $9 to $10. I mean, that's a rather insignificant price increase. I mean, my experience has been, this is not just my personal experience, but with a lot of coaching clients and a lot of friends in the industry, the people that have done it have had raving success with it. So I think that our industry sees obstacles there in our minds that are legitimate, but they're just not really based in reality. And I think every year that goes by that we have inflation, which we've always had, and we have environments where the cost of everything is going up, I think it just is more of a moot point, in my opinion. As far as the cost to conversion, there's a few different ways that you can do it and do it well. I do know people that have taken quarter mechanical mechanisms, which means they're like non-digital, that have taken those out and they've gotten their little Dremels out and they've been creative and they've been able to actually tweak an existing mechanical coin mechanism and make it just through trial and error, make it accept dollar coins. In that situation, you're going from quarter only to dollar coin only, meaning there's no transition period. It's one and then the other, and you kind of have to do them all at the same time or close for a few days or something like that. That's the least expensive way to do it. And if you're super handy and can figure out the mechanics of it, which isn't that hard, you can do it for almost nothing because you're using your existing mechs. There is a little bit of cost in some cases of converting your hoppers and your change machines. Some of the older hoppers don't accept or can't vend dollar coins, and so you have to actually swap them out for new hoppers. A lot of the new hoppers nowadays, it's literally just a couple flips of a dip switch, and you can go from, and you obviously have to program it to send less coins, but a few flips on the dip switch, and you can vend dollar coins out of your change machine, no problem. The last thing I'll say is what I chose to do is definitely more expensive. I chose to replace all the mechs in my store with World Drop, Munz Proof or World Drop mechs. And so they could accept dollar coins and quarters and like every other coin in the planet, basically. And I did that so that I would give my customers kind of an opportunity for transition. And I gave it about a 2 to 3 year period of time before switching to 100% dollar coin. But those mechs aren't cheap. I mean, I think they're $350 a piece. And so if you buy all new mechs, I mean, $10,000, $15,000 maybe to convert that over. Not saying that's what you should do. That's what I did. And I don't regret it. I think it was the right decision for me because I started doing this 5 years ago. And so I think it's much more accepted nowadays than it was in the past. But I think there's enough people in the industry that have had tremendous success doing it in almost every market in the country for us to really, as an industry, just to kind of accept the fact that it probably, when it comes to a coin payment system, I don't know that there's a doubt in anybody's mind that it's our future. Maybe some people think we're not ready for it yet, but I think there's enough people in the industry that have done it and done it effectively to prove that probably a lot of our concerns and worries, they're overcomable at best, or at worst, I should say. So those are my thoughts on it, and I'm someone that's done it many times, and I've helped other people navigate it, and it can be done almost for free, and it can be done for a fairly substantial amount of money. A lot of it depends on your situation too. If you have super old machines and a super old change machine, that's probably going to be a little bit more of an investment for you. So hopefully that helps some people out.
Yeah. Awesome.
Do you have
I
any
will.
thoughts on that? Do you know anybody that does dollar coin? Is that probably not an LA thing?
I don't know
You guys are.
anybody in LA
Mhm.
who does. I'm not saying that there aren't any dollar coin
Mhm.
stores, but I don't know anybody
Is
in
it
LA.
predominantly card based in LA, or is
No,
it
quarter.
still
I
a
mean,
lot of
we're
quarters?
chock full of old stores.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of new stores coming in. I
Mhm.
mean, the trend here has been bigger, new stores. Even a lot of them are still coin quarter stores,
Mhm.
even a lot of the newer ones. But there's more card systems coming in. Obviously, I think everywhere, but here in LA. But
Mhm.
I would say the vast majority of laundromats in the LA area are old, on the border of zombie mat, if not straight up zombie mat
Okay.
stores.
And aren't they small too? Aren't they like predominantly
A lot of
smaller?
them, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 1,500 to 2,500 is the majority, but a
Mhm.
lot of the newer stores that are being built or redone are larger,
Okay.
3,500 to 5,000 square feet,
Okay.
I'd say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Waleed actually says our area, and I think isn't he in New York? Is that right?
He's in New York, yeah.
Our area is super competitive, and my personal opinion, based on just observation across the country, there isn't a market more competitive than New York. Now, I don't know if he's in New York City. I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
is
he
that
is.
is that where he is? He says
Mhm.
our area is super competitive and have raised prices, have raised by $1 with very little kickback from clients. Um, Now, one thing I will say, and I don't know Waleed's store because at least the part. Well, I once again, I'll say it again. I haven't finished the webinar, so I'll just leave
Huh,
it at that.
it's all
But
good.
anyway, I don't know the condition of his store, the quality of his store, how nice it is. I do think that is a factor when it comes to price. If you're competing on price, and that's your secret sauce, then you maybe quarter increment pricing is the way to go. But if you're competing on value proposition and market differentiators and the things that modernized laundromats are, the difference in 75 cents, even on a top loader, which is our industry's smallest machine, is just not significant in that environment in most cases. But I'm not here to hate on quarters. I mean, quarters have been a workhorse of our industry for almost 50 years, but I don't think they're our future. And I think every other option out there is better than a quarter, in my opinion. We have so many different options and we have more every day.
I mean, you got to make a lot more money when you have dollar coins to be able to swim through it like Scrooge McDuck than with quarters.
Well, and they're
So,
heavier too. They're heavier. The coins are thicker and they're heavier. When I swim through it, I always get stuck. But you
yeah.
know what I think it is? I think it's just I need a little bit more mass. Like my body, I need a little bit more mass to just get through. Like
Load up, Dave.
I think
Yep.
it's a science thing. It's a science
Yeah.
thing, which
It's science.
I don't
It's all science.
I don't
Yep.
understand science.
uh,
Anyway, guys,
all
keep the
right.
questions coming. This is absolutely I'm gonna be bold enough to say it. This is the best Q&A we've ever had.
Yeah.
As
Oh
far
man,
as
but we're not even halfway through the questions right now. We need
I
to like
know,
pick up our
and
pace here.
I know we do. All right, let's go. I don't want to ramble
It's
anymore.
not your strength though. Picking up the
Yeah,
pace
I know.
comes to talking. All right. Why? Oh, somebody asked this question. I think it's a great question. Why would somebody sell a profitable business?
Yeah, I actually did a podcast, or I guess it wasn't a podcast. It was a YouTube video before I had a podcast. I did one on that, and I think you might have too, right? Did you?
I do, and I also have a blog post, and I also have an infographic.
Okay. I don't even know what
But
an
yeah.
infographic is. It sounds like
Oh.
science to me. Must be science. I don't even know what an infographic is. But anyway, we don't have time for that nonsense.
No.
Yeah, no, you know what um,
I hear this criticism a lot. I mean, people
yeah.
say this all the time, especially when you talk about laundromats, and I think that's one of the the free laundromat, and that got
Mhm,
brought up actually too. The whole free laundromat thing is like people wouldn't sell a profitable
mhm,
business, so don't ever buy a laundromat, right? And
mhm,
that's a legit question. And I think it's a good question because logically speaking, why
mhm.
would somebody sell a profitable business? So put it to rest right now. Would
Yeah.
somebody? And if so, why would they?
Go check out Jordan's infographic, whatever that is. Go check out our videos because I think that'll do a better job than I'm going to do right now off the cuff. but I can tell you that people sell profitable businesses every single day. A few reasons that are completely legitimate.
Time out. You're
What?
at 998 subscribers. So 2
Hey,
people go subscribe. I've been
somebody,
obsessed for months about this. Way
somebody,
more.
guys, we have 26 minutes for
God,
two people to go create fake YouTube
find
accounts.
after that whole speech about I do not buy subscribers. These are legitimate. We need to find 2 people to subscribe to
I have
Dave's
I have
YouTube channel
998 organic
immediately.
subscribers and 2
Yeah.
frauds.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I
Holy moly.
speaking of squirrels, but we have got to get to 1,000 by the end of this thing. I have been obsessing for months
You
over
guys
this
are
and
you
watching the
guys are
numbers go.
you guys are awesome. Oh goodness.
Okay.
What was the question?
So
Holy moly.
sorry. We're
Oh
talking
yeah.
about why would
No,
somebody sell a
yeah. I
profitable
would sell.
business, and nobody
Yeah.
really cares. We want to know, when is Dave going to hit 1,000 subscribers?
They don't
Okay,
care
no,
about
I'm
that.
serious.
You're
Okay,
the
go
only
ahead.
person that cares about that.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, what I mean, I think what Jordan said is accurate. In fact, I know it is. It's a legitimate question. It is a legitimate question, just like any question that you don't know the answer to. The difference is once somebody has the answer to it, I think it's complete and total garbage for people to go around saying something like that because it promotes their whatever when they know better. And that's the thing that I think is funny. So
Yeah.
the thing I find interesting about it is, well, I'm just gonna no, I'm not. I'm not gonna go there. What I'll tell you is that people get sick, meaning that they get cancer and they sometimes pass away, but sometimes they just have epiphanies in life where they just decide, I want to do something different with my life. That happens every day. And to suggest that that doesn't happen in our lives, every one of us have had situations in life where something at some point was very important and passionate to us. And then all of a sudden it's not that passionate and important to us anymore. Like we reserve the right to change and evolve and be different people tomorrow than we were yesterday. And sometimes that means that we pivot in life. Some people do the same thing. They're a plumber or an electrician for 45 years and they're passionate about it and they love it and they do it until the day they die. And that's fantastic. But most people, especially nowadays, we tend to kind of get, I don't know if burned out is the right word, but we go through different phases in life where maybe we're passionate about motorcycles or surfing or blondes or brunettes or whatever. I mean, we go through these that's probably a terrible analogy. We go through these different phases, and I know for a fact that business is no different. So people can pass away, people can get sick, people can have life altering things like divorce, people can move. If I own 5 laundromats in Cincinnati, Ohio, and my wife is a career whatever, blah blah blah, that's very important, that's the foundation of our family, and she gets this amazing once in a lifetime opportunity to go work at whatever company out in Texas or whatever, then we're going to uproot our family. We're going to sell our small businesses. Our laundromats aren't going to keep my wife from chasing her life's work. And that happens every day. I know people all across the country. It's baby boomers. It's happening like crazy where they're chasing their children. They're chasing their adult children all over the all over the place because they want to be close to their kids and their grandkids. And so if I own laundromats and next thing you know, all 3 of my kids live in Texas, am I going to stay in Cincinnati? Well, I mean, maybe not. I may sell all my businesses and go buy laundromats in Texas. Divorce. I mean, financial issues. A lot of people in the laundromat industry have many different businesses in many different industries. And you know what? We have real estate crashes where people lose liquidity and they need cash flow. And so they sell assets in order to create cash flow. And sometimes that is a laundromat is one of their assets that they liquidate to be able to pay off whatever. So, I mean, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that somebody goes around saying something like that. I think it's a completely legitimate question. So, whoever asked the question, I'm not talking to you at all. I think it's a fantastic question. And I think it's something that our industry should talk more about so that we can educate people that it's complete hogwash, that somebody would never sell a profitable business. And by the way, the person that goes around saying that on the internet, they've sold all of their laundromats. They didn't give them away. They sold them. So, I mean, like, what is that? What is that? Like, you're going around telling people never sell profitable businesses when you've actually done it multiple times.
Maybe
This
they weren't
doesn't make it.
profitable. I don't know.
Well, good point. Maybe they weren't profitable. Great point. So anyway, I mean, that's my thought on it. Those are just off the top of my head, a handful of reasons that people
Yeah.
would sell a business that is very profitable. I'm sure you could spew off 3 or 4 more that I don't have off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, the point is that the life happens, number one, and I'm very like if I do something for too long, I'm ready for like some kind of change, So
Mhm.
even just knowing people like me, some people, like you said, some people like to do the same thing for their whole lives, and
Mhm.
I am not that. And frankly, for me, like I'm getting ready. I've been saying this for a long time, but I'm getting ready to sell one of my laundromats, and the main reason is it's a smaller laundromat, and
Mhm.
even though it doesn't take a ton of time and effort to manage, it's a smaller laundromat, so the profit behind it is not that great, and I'd rather sell that one and go buy something, a bigger laundromat, or some real estate or something like that. So sometimes, and that was the one that got me into the industry, and so sometimes the laundromat just serves its purpose, and after that, it's served its purpose and you're ready to move on. So, I mean, there's a ton of different reasons for that, but I do think it's a legitimate question because so many people have it, and because
Mhm.
that information is not out there, and it seems logical. Why would somebody
Yep.
sell something, especially if it's a cash flow business, right? Why would you? Well, it turns out there's a lot of different reasons, and life happens in a lot of different ways, and people are different. And, you know,
Do you
sometimes,
think let me ask you this, do you think that narrative flies as seems do you think that seems legit because, because there's also this narrative that a laundromat runs itself and it's passive
yeah,
and it doesn't take any work,
yeah,
so doesn't it seem to you like it doesn't it seems to
for sure.
me, I'm asking you, if it seems like those 2 narratives fly together, which we all know those are both complete garbage.
Right. Yeah,
I think
yeah,
they
yeah.
go
I
hand in
mean,
hand.
yeah, because I do think it's an even more legitimate question if you have a business that requires zero time
Mhm.
and brings you cash flow. There's
Yeah.
probably a lot less scenarios where you're going to sell that business. But
Mhm.
but I do think that actually is one of the reasons that a lot of people sell, is because they've been sold that
Mhm.
narrative, like
Great
it's
point,
not
great
going
point.
to, it's not going to take any time. Go collect quarters once a week, and or dollar coins once a week, and then the business runs itself, and you get into it and you find out actually it takes a little more work than that, and so I don't really want to put in that work. That's not how I want to spend my time, so I'm going to sell it, right? And that's
Yep.
an opportunity. And I will also say that not only profitable laundromats are good buys, there are laundromats that are not profitable that can be a good buy, and a good opportunity for somebody, even if it's not profitable. So, I think there's a lot of different scenarios. Yeah.
4 of my 5 stores, when I bought them, I paid money for them, and they were losing money.
Yeah.
4 of my 5, and
Yeah.
they're all 4 are all 4 wildly profitable now. So, that just proves your point.
Thank you for proving my point.
Yep.
Yeah. So great question. And Dave, great answer.
Yeah,
Somebody
go check
somebody
out
asked.
Jordan's infographic.
Go ahead.
Info.
Yeah.
Is that a hyphen? Is that a hyphenated
It's a one word,
infographic?
man. One
I don't
word.
even think it's a real world. I don't think it's a real one.
It's made up.
It's a
Yeah.
made up word.
It's made up.
Like
Somebody asked, and I think they asked this question because I had just asked this question on some of the Facebook groups, but for some of the best safety tips. So I'm actually going to
mhm.
skip this question. If you're interested on some of the best safety tips, number one, the reason I asked that question, I'm going to make a video on it here pretty soon. But number two, go join the Laundromat Millionaire Facebook group. Maybe join a couple of the other laundromat owner Facebook groups, if you want. And there's some discussions happening over there right now on safety tips. There's already some great some great
Ride
tips on
Ride
there
a
already.
Rodeo. Ride
Yeah.
a Rodeo gave us an update. 1 more subscriber.
One more to go.
One
We've got to find one more. There's only a little bit
uh,
of time left. Somebody
I
help me
doubt
here.
anybody is gonna be logging in, with, 17 minutes to go. I
Oh my
think the
gosh.
audience we have is probably the audience we have. You guys are amazing. I genuinely hope that those are all people that genuinely want to, follow, because that's like every one
Yeah.
of you matter. Every one of you matter to me. So thank you.
I'm kind of hoping that we hit 1,000, and then like a bunch of them unsubscribe so we can do it all over again.
How does that work exactly? How's YouTube does that mess with their algorithms?
I don't know.
I know I've read if you buy subscriptions that, like, they figure it out because I guess if you buy them, they come in chunks or something. I think
Yeah,
are
I don't
bots
know.
or something doing it, and they figure it out and, has they can unsubscribe them if they think they're computer generated or whatever.
Yeah.
But
there was an interesting conversation happening earlier about an owner who said they just kind of write in Krav Maga. Yes, for the safety questions. Krav Maga. Go join Krav Maga. And if you don't know what Krav Maga is, it's a kind of like a martial art. It's not really a martial art. It's an Israeli fighting system. It's something I've been training in for a while, and have put to good use in one of my laundromats, unfortunately.
if you all didn't know, Jordan's a ninja.
It's essentially a ninja.
True.
Essentially,
Basically a ninja. Basically a ninja.
Yeah. So, anyways, there was
Waleed said, "You're about to get 1,000 right now. Hold on."
He's going to make that fake account right now.
either that, or he told his like daughter or son. He's like, "Hey, go get on
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys. This is fun, if nothing else.
So
you're cracking
fun.
me up,
and
you
hopefully helpful.
Me up.
All right. So, anyways, back to it. We're gonna have a party here in a second if you hit 1,000. But there was an interesting conversation about an owner who said they bake in a 15% loss. They expect employees to steal money, and so they just bake it into the loss and don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. So, what are your thoughts on? There's a discussion already on this. So you don't have to go too crazy into it. I can already tell what your opinion is going to be, but why don't you chime in on that?
I'm going to say this, and I genuinely mean it. If that's how you run your business, that's totally fine. I mean, I honestly, truthfully believe that the beauty of small business ownership is nobody can tell me how to run my business, and I'm not here to tell you how to run yours. I'm here to give you ideas and suggestions to bounce ideas off of each other. So this is not directed at someone that just finds that acceptable. Okay. There's not a situation on planet Earth where I would find that acceptable, just simply out of principle alone. I just it would not be acceptable to me, mainly because I'm a I don't know what's going on with Stacy. She says, I swear I'm a nice girl. Whoa. I don't know what came before that, but holy cow.
We're not buying it, Stacy. We're not buying it.
I'll vouch for you, Stacy. You're not a girl, you're a woman, but yeah, I'll vouch for her. She's a good lady. She's a good lady. There is no way to me, just simply out of principle, that could continue. And the main reason for it isn't just like I have this principle. The main reason is like I am hypersensitive to my to the environment, the culture of my organization, for our customers and for our employees. And I would not want to work somewhere. I would not want to work somewhere, and I would not want to ask other people to work somewhere.
Dave,
Are you interrupting me?
What you're saying right now, because you are at 1,001 subscribers.
Wow.
I mean, we need to verify this, but
well, I can
1,001.
I
I've been counting this down for so long.
You guys are amazing. And Waleed, I see what you did, and I appreciate you, my friend. And I can't wait to meet you in person someday, by the way. So hopefully that happens, if we're ever allowed to do that ever again in the history of mankind. But I see what he did, because the soapbox logged in and said, you are at 101K done. Yeah. So what he did is he logged into, or somebody did. He logged into, look at that. There, it's a one digit, 1K.
1K.
You guys are amazing. That's hilarious.
Party.
You guys are awesome. He logged into his business YouTube channel and subscribed. So now you're going to get 2 alerts for everything that I put out. So good luck. Good luck with that. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah.
Mindset.
I would not want that culture. And in my environment, I wouldn't want to work in that environment. I wouldn't want to do business in an environment where it's acceptable for people to just be dishonest, which is what I see that as. I mean, not that we're perfect. And yes, we've hired people that have stolen from us. And I'm sure it's probably happened for a while before we caught it. But when we caught it, they need to leave, because a bad apple will spoil the bunch. And that's how I make my decisions, is what I want to do laundry here in this environment, what I want to work in this environment. And then the third one is what I want my wife and kids to come in here and do laundry without me. So that goes into like a safety factor and things like that. But I just don't want dishonest people that are doing dishonest things and illegal things to be in that environment. I want them removed. So I couldn't sleep at night, but I get it from a business perspective. From a financial perspective, they're saying I just bake it into the cake as far as the numbers, and I'm still happy with the numbers. So I get the idea, but not in a million years could that ever fly with Dave Menz.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? One of the things I've kind of been noticing as I'm doing more consulting calls and have more consulting clients, there's kind of two different mindsets that go into laundromats that I've noticed. And one is the business ownership mindset, which you are the champion of. Tout everything that you say comes from that perspective. And there's another mindset that's a more investor mindset. And I
Mhm.
found that the
Sure. Yeah.
investor mindset is one that is more likely to tolerate that because they're weighing the cost of the time and effort it takes to and I'm not saying that this is,
Mhm.
right or wrong or anything, but
Sure.
they're weighing how much time and effort is it going to take to squelch that, and is it worth my time and effort,
Mhm.
to try to hire fire them, try to find somebody else, go through, because you got to go through sometimes people to find somebody who's good that you want to keep. It takes time and effort. And if they're losing 15% for somebody with that mindset where it's kind of their side thing, they're a doctor, they're a lawyer, they're
Mhm.
whatever, and for them, they just if they make their 10 or 15% return, after baking in the money that's walking away and
Mhm.
everything else, they're okay with it. Then that's where I find that mindset coming in more and more,
Mhm.
or more often than somebody who's running it as a business. It's their thing. They're either using it as their primary business, or they want it to be, they're using it as a way to get out of their 9 to
Mhm.
5. That's where I see that mindset slipping in
Yep.
a lot of times.
Completely and totally understandable. Just definitely not who I am and not how I do business. But yeah, I completely agree. I think that's a fantastic point, is the whole investor mentality. And I don't say that with negative connotation at all. And I don't think you do either.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I get it. Once again, everybody's business means something different to them. And you get to choose how you run your business, and there's nothing wrong with how you run it. That's your business, that's your choice. If I were to run it, I would not run it that way. But most people wouldn't invest the time and the money and the expense and the resources and all the things that I have to build up the team that I've built up. And so once you've done that, the last thing you want is someone like that coming in and
Mhm.
messing that up. So I also look at it from a time investment, capital management standpoint. And I look at it and I say, no way is somebody coming in here and destroying this Taj Mahal of a team that I've built in this environment. The reason I can charge the prices I charge is because our team is on the ball. So that's once again kind of goes in both directions for sure.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Uh, I'm
All right, guys, we got about 8 minutes left. We're going to hit a couple more questions before we get out of here. And I'm hoping that maybe if you guys work really hard, Waleed, maybe set up another few fake accounts for, let's see if we can get me to 2,000 by the end,
2,000
guys.
in the
Come
next
on.
8 minutes.
You know what? This feels like an infomercial all of a sudden. Come on. We only got 3 of these necklaces left. We've only got 3 of them. You got to get them now. Oh, we only have 2 left now.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. You get me
Oh,
excited.
man.
You get me excited. I'm gonna jump through the
That's
screen.
right. I feel like
And
you're
by the
mocking me now. I'm
no,
genuinely I mean, Dave,
no.
I've literally been
I
counting
love
this
you, my
down
friend.
for forever.
I am
Just like
100% certain that
I'm
everything
just
you do is genuine, and I
I'm
absolutely
like
love you for it.
blown away that I get to be here the moment,
You
and
are
celebrate it with
experiencing
you.
history. You're
I
experiencing
know.
history.
I know. All right, we got some more
Yep.
questions.
All right, let's do it.
Uh
7 minutes, guys. Get your questions in.
Hiring managers. Have you ever used a headhunter? What's the best way? If you don't have somebody that you've been able to groom who's going to
Mhm.
be a good fit for a manager, you got any tips for hiring managers?
We have never, we don't have, well, I take that back. We have hired a store manager off the streets, and it did not work out.
Like a homeless
Um,
person?
well, no, no, no. I mean, like,
Okay.
not in the organization.
Got it.
Um, but, it didn't work out. It doesn't mean I wouldn't do it again, because I mean, that just means that one time didn't work out. But I also think that you have to take that type of question in context of your industry.
Mhm.
And it's not like we're going to be, in most cases, I mean, if my GM left, I have two assistant GMs that one of them would be promoted, which is why I've built my organization the way I have. So I don't rely on one person. But if you had a GM and then a bunch of attendants and no other structure in place, and that GM left you in a laundromat environment, I mean, you would probably need to go outside. You're probably not going to have an attendant that's capable of growing into that role at least quickly, or you may, as the owner, have to step into it in a short-term basis. But
Mhm.
I think part of it is the industry that you're in. It's really easy to say, oh, I'm going to hire a recruiter to replace this the senior manager at blah 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 whatever company that makes 250K a year as a starting salary, and then their bonus is 80K a year. And I mean, there's a lot of people that want that job, but there's just not a lot of people that want a manager's job at a laundromat, or even want to work in a laundromat at all. And so usually what our experience has been is you have to find people with the right work ethic and the right character and the right grit, and then you have to coach them and build them up into what you want them to be. And part of that is getting them to buy into your vision of what your company is now, but also what you're creating for the future and their role in that. And that is something that just takes time. Um, so I don't know if that makes sense to other people, but I mean, once again, I would never say never. But I think in our industry, there's probably not too many situations where it makes a lot of sense. Most people just don't have a structure where they're paying someone 250K to do anything in their laundromat empire. And so you're probably not going to go outside and find somebody super qualified. And if you did, they probably have all kinds of other options other than to work at a laundromat too. So I think there's a lot of things that kind of work against us in that environment. It's just the nature of our industry. But I
Mhm.
actually kind of love it. Like I really do, even though it has been a lot of work. I kind of love the fact, because I guess I'm kind of the underdog. I've always seen myself as like this underdog who everybody always wrote off. And I wasn't good at school, and I grew up really poor, and I wasn't very smart and all these things. And everybody just always told me how I couldn't do things. And I just always knew that I had that grit and tenacity and that I could and I would, but people just wouldn't believe in me, which is how I became an entrepreneur, because then I didn't need anybody to believe in me. So I think there's a part of me that kind of has this soft spot for people that have been disrespected or looked down upon in society, that maybe didn't have the opportunity to go to college, or maybe weren't the best at school, or just never got the right opportunity. And so to recognize what I call character traits in those people and say, I see this in you, and I'm going to invest in this you, and I'm going to coach you up. And I want you to be an intricate part of my team as we build this business forward. You'll see people light up that thought they were going to make $9 an hour the rest of their life. And you'll see them run through a freaking brick wall for your customers, not for you, but for your customers. And that's what I'm looking for. So I really love that part of it. I really do. It's something that's really important to me. And now I don't do that. My manager or my GM and my assistant GMs, when promotions and things like that are happening, they're making those decisions. But I've also coached them up on how we make those decisions, how I made the decision to promote them, what I saw in them. So I don't know if that makes sense to people, but that's how we do things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, still some questions left. I'm going to run through a bunch of them real quick and
Mhm.
just check them off, just so we at least touch each of them. And then we can close it up. You guys have been awesome.
You guys are amazing.
Somebody asked about letting somebody else run a drop-off service and having them be the attendant. We've actually addressed that in previous live Q&A. So go back and make your way through. Both of us have posted all of
Mhm.
these live Q&As on our channel, so you can go back and watch all 10 of
Yeah.
them now. And there's a ton of great questions in there, a
Mhm.
ton of great answers. But that is addressed in there. We'll try to hit that on the next one too. We'll be doing another one next month, as always. And then ironing equipment. Dave has an awesome interview with the dry cleaner, so go check out the podcast episode over there. I can't remember which number that was
Yeah.
or what the title of
I
that
don't
one is.
yeah, I don't know what number it is, but it's Thriving in Dry Cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Rich and Teresa Redmond, and they're my dry cleaner. We do wholesale dry cleaning, and we wholesale it out to them. They're in Cincinnati. They're amazing people who are taking an industry that people think is dying, and they are thriving even in COVID. They're struggling because business is down, but they are thriving where a lot of dry cleaners are going under, going bankrupt. So it's a good episode to check out. I agree.
Yeah, so there's that one. Somebody kind of asked tongue in cheek, what's a free laundromat? They haven't found one, but just in case anybody is interested in that, Dave's got a whole series on that, on free laundromats, what they are, and if you should do it. I got a video on that too,
Jordan. Yep.
And then somebody else asked about using a captive portal on Wi-Fi and what information do you collect, how to use it. We've addressed that on previous live Q&As too. I'll just real quick, from a marketing perspective, really all you need to collect is a name and an email address, maybe a cell phone number if you do text marketing of any sort. But I think email marketing is one of the biggest underutilized marketing strategies in our industry. I think there's a huge opportunity in email marketing, and not very many laundromat owners are using it. So if you're thinking about collecting information, really all you need is a name and an email address, maybe a phone number if you want to do text message marketing. There's other information you can collect, but again, I like to keep things, clean and easy. People are going to be more hesitant to leave an address, than an email address. So just, if we missed any questions in there, I'm sure that you can reach out to Dave. His personal cell phone number is, no, I'm just kidding. But reach out to either of us. I'm sure we'd be glad to answer questions when we can. And join us next month for our next live Q&A. And both of us have stuff going on all over the place. Podcasts going on, YouTube videos going on, blogs going on, webinars happening. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on. So join us, all over the place, wherever we're at, whatever we're doing. And we'd love to see you. Forums, everything.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
guys, real quick, I'm going to give you a few quick resources. Jordan Berry, Laundromat Resource YouTube channel. Go make sure you subscribe, click the alert button or alert bell. He puts his podcasts on there. So if you're like me and you like to do them in audio and video, that's something I like to do. He has almost 67, almost 70 episodes, and this is the longer format. So they're usually over an hour. There's a lot of insanely valuable content on there. So go check out the Laundromat Resource podcast, the YouTube channel. Go check out laundromatresource.com. his website, because he's built a platform, and you can get a free membership where you can get access to free tools. Rodney was the 1,000th subscriber.
Rodney's a hero of the day.
Rodney, send me an email, dave@laundromatmillionaire.com. I will send you a free book when my book comes out. Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Thank you, buddy. And by the way, wherever the soapbox went in here, Waleed, make sure you email me too, because I will send you a free book as well when it comes out, and it'll be a few months. But so yeah, you guys are awesome. I appreciate it. But anyways, guys, check this stuff out, and not because it really helps us a ton. It does help when you subscribe and click the like button, these things like that. Do it because these are the reasons that we do these things. Is we want to help you guys. Okay, we know that this content is valuable, and it's usually insanely valuable because of our guests, because of the people we're interviewing, the webinars, the people that Jordan has on the webinars, the topics he discusses, things like that. That is why we do this, is to help you guys. We're not in it for us. The laundromat industry isn't that big. We're probably never gonna be famous, from laundromats, but don't even do it. Jordan Berry is my friend at the moment, guys. So anyway, go check out his podcast. Go check out his Laundromat Resource. He has a forum that if you sign up for a free subscription on his website, you can get access to all of his forums. He calls it one forum, but it's a bunch of different categories on different laundromat topics. And so go in there, because this has been going on for over a year and a half now. And so you can get a lot of valuable information. You don't need today's information. You can get a lot of valuable information from past episodes and things like that maybe were recorded a year ago or a year and a half ago at this point. And so, do those things. Jordan mentioned, that he has a Laundromat Resource website. I have Laundromat Millionaire website. We're both continuing to do similar but different things and collaborate and things like that. So check out our websites, because we're always doing different things to try to bring you guys value. But you mentioned it, Jordan. This is the 10th episode of the Laundromat Owners Live Q&A on YouTube. Every other month we rotate. So next month, this is on my channel, the Laundromat Laundromat Millionaire. And next month is going to be on Jordan's YouTube channel. So if you don't subscribe and click the alert bell, then you're not going to get notified when he puts those teasers out to let you know what date it's going to be in September. So make sure you guys do that and see if you can get him over 1,000. Or wait, no, he's almost to 4,000. So see if you can get him over 4,000. So anyway, go check out all those Q&As in the past, because as this one was 90 minutes, all the other ones are 90 minutes too. And so, I mean, that's an insane amount of value. As far as hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of, heck, that's pretty clear. Yeah, that's almost 1,000 hours or 1,000 minutes of content on just Q&A alone, which is basically what you just witnessed today. There's 1,000 minutes of that out there. And we always have rock star guests, or not guests, but we have had some guests too on the Q&A, but we've also had some rock star every episode. We have rock star laundromat owners in the comments section that are also asking and answering questions. And so when we don't get to a lot of these things, our friends and other resources in the industry are doing that as well. So hopefully that helps you guys all out. We appreciate you guys joining us today, and make sure you stay tuned, and we're going to do this again next month. So take care, guys. Have a great one.
See you guys.
See ya. Take care.